The William Pace Show through the years has been a beacon of light in the Midwest, taking you to such destinations as the Navy Pier, the Palmer Hilton Palace Hotel, the German Village, the Showboat Majestic Theatre, the Ohio Village, and the Krohn Conservatory. There's always something cooking in the kitchen on the William Pace Show. Some of the biggest stars, entertainers, and political figures like B.B. King, Jimmy Walker, Bob Carlisle, Patti Austin, Mr. T, Whitley Phibbs, and Congressman Tony Hall have appeared on the William Pace Show. Now, without further ado, we proudly present the William Pace Show on CATV, coming to you from the heart of the Midwest. The William Pace Show, asking the questions you want to ask, getting the answers everyone wants to know. It's a new season of the William Pace Show. We're raising the bar with more commitment to educate, inform, encourage, inspire, empower, and help you have your best life. Everyone deserves to have their best life. I'm just staying the course. Here we go.
Good evening, I'm William Pace. Thanks so much for tuning in the William Pace Show. I'm really excited about the show tonight because one of my longtime friends and accomplished composer is with us tonight. Her name is Augusta Cecconi-Bates. Welcome to the William Pace Show.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here, William. Lot of years since we've seen each other.
Just a few, yes, but you look just as young as ever. So just
and you as well.
Thank you. Just as I remembered you, there's an interesting story, folks, how we met. I was booked to sing a concert with Apollo Verdi's concert in California, and the concert was in Salinas, I think, Salinas, California.
Yep.
And Gussie and I, we met at the bus stop, and we became friends, and so I am so delighted that she's here with me tonight. And you grew up in Syracuse, New York, right?
Yes, sir. Syracuse, New York. My parents were both Italian American. They were immigrants from a long time before I was born. Mm-hmm. And I went to school in Syracuse. I went to Syracuse University. It was an easy time. In a sense, I grew up right at the height of the Depression. So life wasn't exactly, we weren't living in peaches and cream. We were really, we struggled. Mm-hmm. It was tough to put bread and butter on the table every night, but my mother and father did that. They made sure I had an education, and I owe everything to them because they worked so hard to get me. Syracuse was a nice town at one time, and I think it still is. I live far from there now, so.
It's really beautiful, Syracuse. In fact, I have been able to be fortunate to have performed in upstate New York many times. Ithaca Concert Band, Syracuse Concert Band, Skinny Adelise. I love Skinny Adelise, because
oh, yes.
It's the Finger Lakes, and one of my fond memories, I was singing a concert with the Skinny Adelise Concert Band, and they have it right there in front of the Finger Lakes. And people with their big boats would sail to the dock, and they'd be sitting on the top tiers of their boat, and I'd be singing, to them on the lake. It was just breathtaking. It was just one of my most memorable memories. And also Auburn too. We can't leave Auburn out as well. So what made you decide to go to compose music? Did you start like in elementary school? You were a pianist, right?
Yes. Well, I always tell people it was a calling. They tell people who go to the ministry or the priesthood that it's a calling.
I can relate to that.
Basically that's what it was. And you had that similar drive. I could see that in you when we met. You knew you wanted to perform, and you did. And it was just one of those things. I really started when I was about 6 or 7. And as soon as I started having piano lessons, I was making up tunes on the piano. And and I did that
Wow.
all the way through school. You know?
Even through elementary, high school, and then on to
Yeah.
college then.
Oh yeah, and on to college. And then of course, when I started teaching, I thought, oh wow, now I've got some kids that can sing some of my stuff if I write it.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote songs for the kids to sing, and they
Wow.
enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it. And
Mm-hmm.
we just kept doing that for the 30 years of my teaching, and that was Syracuse. I taught in Syracuse for 30 years, and and actually in 1968, I was teaching eighth grade kids, and they wrote a whole bunch of poems and dedications to Martin Luther King Jr. And I said, gee, what if I put this to music and you guys sing it? And they thought, oh, that would be
Wow.
so wonderful. It was, and so we did. And I turned it into a cantata. And the Syracuse School District, the superintendent said, this is worthwhile. They organized a student orchestra and a student chorus, and they had two very, very fine singers who were also teachers to be the soloists, and they did a performance of it, and it was just beautiful. And what happened since? It sat on a shelf for, I don't know, lots of years. Now I have a conductor named Tom Colohan out of Washington, D.C., and he's the Washington, D.C., I don't know exactly the name of the chorus, but he's thinking very seriously of doing this same cantata either in January or February. January, of course, would be MLK Jr.'s day, or in February for
Yes.
Black History Month. And it's a big honor. It's just,
It's amazing that you're having this success in your life right now that you can really enjoy it. That is not
yes.
the case with many composers, you know.
No, it
Many
isn't.
composers, you know, for example, Bizet, who wrote the opera Carmen, he died thinking he was a failure. And now
Yeah.
his opera is one of the most beloved operas in the repertoire. So,
Yeah.
you know, I'm so glad that you're getting your flowers while you're here. I'm
Yeah,
so
there we
glad.
go.
I'm so glad that, and you deserve it too. And
Thank you.
you deserve it. And so when we come back from break, I hear that you have several other major accomplishments too. And we want to talk about Molly and the Mohawks. You
Yes.
know, you were nominated for a Pulitzer Award for that?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a big thing, Gussie.
I think it is. I
It's a,
think it is.
yeah,
And
not
I,
everyone is nominated. So
yeah.
that says a lot. That says a lot about your ability and so forth.
Yeah, and
More.
that was nominated by the conductor of the group. He made the nomination. So it's good.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
There's more to come on the William Pace Show, coming to you from the heart of the Midwest. Stay with us.
The William Pace Show through the years has been a beacon of light in the Midwest, taking you to such destinations as the Navy Pier, the Palmer Hilton Palace Hotel, the German Village, the Showboat Majestic Theatre, the Ohio Village, and the Krohn Conservatory. There's always something cooking in the kitchen on the William Pace Show. Some of the biggest stars, entertainers, and political figures like B.B. King, Jimmy Walker, Bob Carlisle, Patti Austin, Mr. T, Whitley Phibbs, and Congressman Tony Hall have appeared on the William Pace Show. Now, without further ado, we proudly present the William Pace Show on CATV, coming to you from the heart of the Midwest.
Good evening, I'm William Pace. You're watching the William Pace Show tonight, and I'm really honored tonight to have and elated to have my good friend Augusta Cecconi-Bates with us tonight. As we were talking before we went to break, Gussie, I also call Augusta Gussie. That's how she's known by many people, Gussie. So we were talking about your accomplishments, and you have many. You did the opera Molly and the Mohawks. Tell us about that and how that came to be.
That came to be because my home now is in northern New York State on the St. Lawrence River,
Wow.
which is where Molly Brandt lived during the American Revolution and, of course, before the American Revolution. Mm-hmm. She was a Klan matron. She was a leader of her people. She was definitely on the side of the British. Mm-hmm. And she earned a land grant after the war was over. But I was so taken by her story that I decided to write some music about her. And it's just as though I was supposed to do this, because the first 4 songs that I wrote for her happened in 4 days. And I knew that I had to go more with that. And so we got help from people in California, and we've had it performed. It's had over a dozen performances, and it's been recorded. We have the recording available. Mm-hmm. And the most important song in it is when she sings after the war is over, and she says, "But what of my people? Where do they go now?" Which is, I'm sure, the feeling of any place that's been war torn. What do you do now? How do you pick up your pieces? And it was very successful. And that particular aria, a lot of people really said it. That's what got it nominated for a Pulitzer Prize, because the conductor, Charles Schneider, was so happy with it and so pleased with it, he put it in nomination. He nominated it.
Wow. That is just wonderful. So you felt a connection to Molly then?
Absolutely.
And absolutely. Tell us about that connection. Was there something, tell us about that connection. Was there something about her personality that you could relate to? Was there something about her background that you could connect to? Explain that a little bit more, the connection.
Well, she was a minority like I am. I mean, Italian Americans weren't exactly the top of the ladder. Mm-hmm. But where I was living at the time, near where she lived, it was like I felt like she was there. And when it's weird to say that. People say, "Oh, there's no such thing," but there is. I had a spiritual connection somehow to that woman, and it's always been a part of my music. She really was it. Mm-hmm. And I was very happy with the work I did on it. The Mohawk people in particular were very happy with what I did. Mm-hmm. I was given a native name, Willow Wind, which is a great honor because I'm not native, but and I'm respected by them even now. So, because we did the performance that we did were in 2008, and the last performance was in 2015. So we did quite a few.
Wow. So what other works have you been receiving accolades for?
Well, I mentioned the Martin Luther King thing. I took his words, "I have a dream," and we called it "We Have a Dream," which is we're looking for peace.
Wow.
But
so
now
you just added to it and embellished it, changed it. "I have a dream. We have a dream."
We have a dream for peace and prosper and equality. Presently, I've just completed a very large opera dealing with a family who are now in Canada, who escaped from the Nazis and the communist regime in 1948. After the Nazis were defeated, the communists took over, but they had to leave because they were considered, the wrong kind of people, I guess. And so they came to Canada, and the 2 of them, one son and one daughter, became skating champions in 1962. So the opera has been completed. And again, I guess this is what I'm supposed to do: speak out against war with my music, and speak out against hatred with my music. And this is what I've done.
Absolutely. I can relate to that, Gussie, because I really feel that exactly what I'm doing is a call on my life. And I'm more aware today than it was, I'm going to give my age away here, 30 years ago when we met on the streets of Salinas, you know. I think you just grow in your call and you become more aware. And then there comes a point where you don't think about the call so much. You just inhabit the call. You just embrace the call. You just become the call on your life.
Yes. You are doing that, William, and we're kindred spirits, you and I.
Oh, ditto, ditto. I truly do believe that. I believe that God puts people in your life for a reason, to mentor you, to guide you, to steer you, and support you. I truly believe that. And there have been many people in my life that have mentored me. One is the late Adele Aish, which was a mutual friend for both of us, you see.
Yes, yes.
You know, I feel his presence, you know. He booked me many times to come and sing in Wisconsin. And, you know, he was a believer of mine. He was a supporter of mine. And he was just a very sweet man, and his entire family as well. And he surely will be missed, you know. But
yes, he will.
Yes, there's more to come on the William Pace Show, coming to you from the heart of the Midwest.
The William Pace Show through the years has been a beacon of light in the Midwest, taking you to such destinations as the Navy Pier, the Palmer Hilton Palace Hotel, the German Village, the Showboat Majestic Theatre, the Ohio Village, and the Krohn Conservatory. There's always something cooking in the kitchen on the William Pace Show. Some of the biggest stars, entertainers, and political figures like B.B. King, Jimmy Walker, Bob Carlisle, Patti Austin, Mr. T, Whitley Phibbs, and Congressman Tony Hall have appeared on the William Pace Show. Now, without further ado, we proudly present the William Pace Show on CATV, coming to you from the heart of the Midwest.
Good evening, I'm William Pace, and you're watching the William Pace Show, and we're talking to Augusta Cecconi-Bates, but we call her Gussie. So before we went to break, we were talking about future projects. You want to tell us a little bit about what you might have in the pipeline coming up?
Well, right now in the pipeline is the big opera about the Czech family that escaped from Czechoslovakia after the Nazi and the communist regimes were, going on. And they escaped to Canada and had successful life. The brother and sister became skating champions. The work is already completed. It's in the hands of a conductor in Canada, and we are looking for, well, he's looking to get it produced. But the big problem, of course, is I chose the most expensive kind of music to work in. Opera is like doing ballet or a motion picture. You need lots of angels.
Yes,
but I don't give up.
You have to be a strong person to be in the arts of any kind.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
You really do. But it's a call. And, you know, I feel, particularly in my artistic endeavors, God is constantly testing me. You know, are you going to stand in the call? So many times we want to know, well, how is it going to come to be? And I'm going to do that. And where's the money? And da 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 da. And so much of what we do is really having faith to believe that the means will be provided. And in my particular case, you know, I've lasted all of these years that and God has met the need every time. So that's coming up soon. And then when will it, do you know, have any particular dates in mind or time of year when it will be coming up?
Well, they're aiming for the fall of 2023.
2023.
Next year.
Yeah.
And, anybody that's a composer or an artist or a creator in a creative arts, you have to stay the course. You have to really believe in what you're doing because you're going to be told you can't have anything. You're going to be put down every time you turn around. Somebody goes, "No, I can't do that. No, you shouldn't do this. We haven't got any money. We can't help you." I heard that all my life, but I still keep doing it. I mean,
we're made out of the same material, because it's interesting you said stay the course, because in the opening for this new season that we're in right now, I use that mantra, I'm just staying the course.
Absolutely.
You just stay the course. You just, you have to be, and that is so important. I tell you why, Gussie, because in life we always have a lot going on. But if you've been given a goal, it's like walking down a main thoroughfare. There are going to be all kinds of things going on both sides of the street. But it's how well you stay focused upon the call and the goals of your life that you will succeed. And that's really important. So it's good to meet another person who stays the course too.
Well, William, I remember you, and I remember when we met, and I know you stay the course. You came with me. We went to the New York State Fair. You staying at the New York State Fair at one time, and with you. And I was so impressed with you because when Dell asked you to sing with the Racine concert band, and he said, "Oh, how about doing the Toreador song?" You learned that piece overnight.
Yes, yes, and it was in French, and I'd never sung the aria before, and but somehow I pulled it off, and
you did.
Yeah, and he believed in me, and so I pulled it off, and it went really well. So it just gets back to what I've said so many times, Gussie. If God gives you a vision, He will make the provisions for you. He will send the people to help you. And the important thing is for you to stand in the call. That's the problem. Many people get discouraged because, I don't have family to support me, or I don't have this, or I don't have that. And, God is testing people to say, are you going to have the faith to just simply believe in the call I have on your life? Then I will provide everything. It says it in His Word. I will provide for all your needs. You see?
Absolutely.
You got to
absolutely.
You have to just stand in the call, and that's what I've done all these years. Truthfully, I've never, like you and many other artists, we don't know how it's going to unravel and how it's going to unfold. As you know, in many projects, even in opera and music, and particularly in movies, some projects are on the shelf for years. Was it Blue Skies, I think, with Jessica Lange, that project had laid on the shelf for several years, after it had been completed, but they couldn't get it into distribution or whatever. And it had been 4 or 5 years on the shelf. She had gone on to done other movies, and then later got nominated when that was released for that movie that had been done years before. You see?
Yep.
So that it's really interesting, but it's, we have to be strong people in the arts.
Yes.
We have to be very strong people. Well, Gussie, we're almost out of time, and I want the viewers to know how they can get a hold of you. Can you give us your email address? Can they write to you there? I'm sure they will.
I hope they do, William, and I hope they mention you especially. But it's Cecconi-Bates at gmail.com. Actually, if they know my name, just put it in the address bar on your computer.
Okay.
And a lot of
information
will come up.
Uh-huh.
And like I said, we did a recording of one of the performances of Molly the Mohawk, a live performance.
Oh.
The recording was recorded live.
And so
it's
they can
not
buy
a video. It's
they
not
can
a
buy
video.
the recording.
Yeah, but it's just an audio.
Oh,
But
audio.
they-
Yeah, that's what I
they-
meant. Uh-huh.
Yeah, they can get that. We still have that. So I
And
would be
if they
glad
would like to
to
have a
and-
copy of that, they can write to you
Yes.
for information on that.
Yep.
Okay.
And of course, as far as the new opera is concerned, that's called Skaters. And well, if they know any angels out there, send them to me.
Okay, we certainly will, Gussie. Thanks so
Yeah,
much
oh.
for coming on the program tonight, and we'll have you back too soon.
Thank you again, William.
Okay.
I love you, dear. I'm
Love you
so
too.
glad your success is there because you worked for it and you earned it, and God was with you all the way through. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Take
There's
care.
more to come on the William Pace Show, coming to you from the heart of the Midwest.
The William Pace Show on CATV.